Welcome everyone, you are listening to and perhaps watching Calling the Audible. I'm your host, Peeze Della Reeze, for one last time until we finally get the smallest of vacations after the FPF Cup. This is the fall season for myself, for my co-host, Simon Dagenais.
What's up?
For Eagle at Master Control. Used to be a small level of repose where we can catch our breath, recharge our batteries, but I'm exhausted.
It was a good time. It was like a 4 months of please don't talk to me. Give me a good 9 to 10 weeks of get out of my face. I don't want to talk to Peeze every day for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk in November.
Now we're talking through November.
And now all we do is see each other.
Yeah, well, especially Eagle and I now with hot sauce. We don't have a break from each other.
I have no clue what that is.
It's Hot Sauce Sports.
I don't
Thank you,
know
Eagle. Thank you, Simon, for
It's not related to FPF.
your clever plug. For those of you who want to watch it, it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Where we talk about sports and butts.
Really? Talk about butts?
This week, yeah, and masturbation. Lots of
And butts
masturbation.
and sports.
Yeah.
Butts in sports, nice.
And a variety of other topics, but not FPF. That's this show where we talk about FPF. I honestly, back in the day, I would have been so calm in fall. I would have been able to see a ridiculous post by a media member and laugh it off. But today, Marc-André Desaulniers, dude, I love you, bro. And I'm all for differing opinion. I like people bringing different ideas to the fold. I like to have thoughtful discussion. But in order to have thoughtful discussion, you need to think. You need to listen to what other people are saying. I love you. You do need to take that post down. I'm all for it. And if anyone has solutions, by the way, to the cap issue, for those who didn't see it on Facebook, is no longer there. The issue of having players play either professional or college or university level ball, and then play in FPF with introductory level ratings. I agree. The system we have isn't perfect. However, if anyone has an idea for a rule that is both equitable and enforceable, I'm all ears. Until then, you're all ears. You're listening to us on Calling the Audible. Simon,
Well, they could
welcome to the road show.
Hey,
that's what we say to FPF media members when they lose their final game and don't make it to the finals. Simon, what happened between you and 2.5 Dance?
It was a good game, man. Honestly, I'm a bit shocked. I wasn't expecting it to be this close. I
You're
was
supposed to
expecting
lose by a great
more.
margin?
Yeah. No, we played. Both teams played well. It was a close game. We lightweight got intercepted on the first drive. Shocker. And then we kept it score for them. We had 4 plays before half, managed to score to go up by 1 before halftime, sort of canceling the interception. And in the second half, there was one drive late in the game where we couldn't score. Got turnover and downs at the 2. They scored back go up by 10 points. When we scored, we got about 4 minutes. We drove the field, scored 36-32. Didn't go for the PAT to save time. Forced a quick 3 and out. We had 4 plays. And we couldn't score on the last play of the game to win.
Who was your rusher in this game?
Darren. Just Darren.
Remember when I told you the person who rushed in this game should have been Justin Blanchard?
Listen, I don't disagree with you. I think he played well. Everybody played decently. We got the stop when it mattered, right? We were down by 4 points. We need the ball back. We got a 3 and out. That's the only drive that actually ended up mattered. We got 4 plays. We should have been able to win. Did not. That's it.
When Joey Taylor completes 72% of your passes, 72% of his passes, it's simply
He
for
threw
one.
like a 30-yard pass, man. I was shocked.
He does that.
No,
he does that. He absolutely does that.
No,
he wants you to bite in, and then he'll take a shot over the top.
Yeah, it was. I would like he throws those 50, 20 yards, but that was actually like from past midfield to Danny in the end zone. That's pretty good.
But again, so the issue is anytime you see him to have that high completion percentage, it's always the fact that the rusher's not getting to him.
They played the typical Joey Taylor offense, and that group that they had with Savag, Danny Demore, Dom Benevento, even Zach Albergill, they sort of bought into the system, and obviously Matthew Rapsick.
It works.
But it takes time to sort of understand what you're doing, right? Like the first week you do it, you're going to make a mistake as a receiver because you don't necessarily see it.
And you're going to be
yourself.
like, what the hell is this? What am I running? What am I doing?
Why is 4 guys running the same pattern? I don't get it.
2 years apart.
But then as the season progresses, you saw that their offense sort of got rolling and they played better. And this week was one of those weeks where their offense really clicked. Everybody was doing their thing and they marched pretty easily, to be honest with you. Like they scored on pretty much every drive. except that one last drive. And I've known, like, Joey played a phenomenal game. Even like the team offensively was very good. Everybody made some plays. It was a close game. I think it was a fun game for everybody who was involved. And listen, we lost, but I'm not mad at how it ended up. It was a fun game to play.
Did your defense hold enough?
It was a weird game. Like whenever, so
because that's what you gotta do.
There's a guy on our
the
team.
Joey Taylor offense. You need to hold.
So there's a guy on our team, Paul, who's hands down our best player. Got hurt on the first drive, trying to go up for a ball, and he rolled his ankle. At the end, but it didn't look so bad because he kept on playing. He just couldn't play offense anymore. But then it would have been me on defense. So he sort of,
him on one
took
foot.
one for the team. After the game in the locker
That's
room.
Paul the pass, right?
Yeah. He took his shoe off and the sock off. It was so bad. His ankle was so swollen up. I felt bad for him. I called him a pussy during the game because he didn't go for a pick six. Like he was there and he sort of stopped.
He just didn't want to run.
Like he was running towards the ball, saw it, and sort of stopped right before and just put a hand on the ball and patted it down. It's like, what are you doing?
I'm waiting for my phone to load the next page.
Him what he was doing. He turned around to me. He didn't say anything. After the game, I saw his ankle. I was like, I feel bad for calling you a pussy for that.
I mean, yes and no.
Yeah, it really felt like he had no strength whatsoever. It was hurting him.
Dreambreakers beat Les Flamants with 31-18. I said when this playoff started, I thought Dreambreakers and EZW would be the strongest two teams from this pool. EZW lost by a point, but Dreambreakers win fairly easily, 31-18, scoring 25 of those points in the second half. Nick Schaefer, 2 interceptions. Despite the amazing effort by Thomas Coutu, who caught 7 passes, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. This team has all the talent you can imagine for the tier they're playing in.
Flamants?
Yeah.
It's a very good team. They played well. Like the game was close, but it was one of those games that sort of got away from them in the second half.
So I've explained what I think is the issue with Les Flamants all season long. Have you noticed anything specifically that you can pinpoint that they can work on in seasons moving forward?
It's like I don't want to blame the quarterback because I don't feel like that's the only issue. I feel it's part of the problem. Their defense is good. They make some plays. They turn the ball over. But their quarterback is a bit too dependent on the big plays. Right? Like he's looking for those game-changing plays. Like Thomas Coutu, 7 catches for 137 yards. That's 20 yards a catch.
Yeah.
On average. So he's looking for him on deep throws more often than not. And he doesn't even have 50% completion percentage. If it's just a matter, he has so many athletes on this team and so much talent that if you just get the ball into somebody's hand on a short pattern, that's easy for them to complete. They're going to move the chains by themselves because these receivers are good. And
the other thing you mentioned to me once, Simon, is if you leave yourself too many third downs to complete.
Yeah, that's also what happens. If you take too many shots early, first, second down, you're ended up with third and long all the time. And then those short throws look good on paper, but don't mean anything during the game.
Do we know if he actually calls plays or if he just says run and get open?
Well, I believe he does because he kept running similar concepts to us, but he calls plays that are very safe where his throws are almost uniquely to the sideline. And by not using the middle of the field, it actually removes your speed advantage.
It's tackle plays, right? Like he calls a tackle playbook.
A lot of mirror play. So like his read is because. So for example, if you run a mirror play, where you're running, let's say hook corner on one side, hook corner on the other side, that means you know he's only going to read one side of the field because he's going to assume that the backside has the same defense.
Yep.
And which admittedly it would.
It would, yes, but then it allows for a rover on defense to be able to make a play by reading the concept. So if you know that the first read is deep and you take away that deep read and you don't have to worry about the backside, the rover can absolutely bail and crash on the second route, the second developing route. So the other thing, if they take less shots, if they develop plays that work better in FPF, I think they're going to be a very, very good team because the talent is not the issue. Sébastien Dallaire, however, the opposite case. I feel like he's a guy absolutely suited to FPF and really played a great game here.
The whole Dreambreakers team as a whole, they got 7 PDs on defense and 2 interceptions. There's a problem with the stats offensively. Obviously, some of them got doubled because it doesn't make sense otherwise. François Desreaux stats are obviously doubled, but still
he
6 catches
more yards than Sébastien Dallaire's thrown.
Yeah. He obviously has 6 catches for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is still very good. Dreambreakers, they found something that really works well for them. They understand that this is flag football. You can't get hit if you run a crossing pattern, which is something Flamants Fous, I think they know, but they just don't want to do. Right? Like there's certain patterns in FPF in tackle football that you don't run because you're gonna get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna get hit, and you don't want your receivers to get hit that way.
It's also not double because there's only 24 completions.
There's
and
18 completions.
He threw 18 completions.
There's 18 completions.
But the receivers have 24 completions, so if you divide it by 2, it's 12.
If you only divide François, it works.
Also 2. All right.
Just him.
Okay.
It works.
All right.
Research. On spot. Right now. Honestly, I just think Dreambreakers, they sort of got on a roll and they played really well. They found a way to come back in the second half. And they adjusted really well to what Flamants Fous were doing. Like their defense really made some plays defensively in the second half, and their offense found what worked for them against Flamants Fous. I think it's just one of those games where one play got away from you, you missed a tackle, and then the game just unraveled.
We talk about Flamants Fous taking deep shots. You have François Dessereau in this one. 7 receptions, 242 yards, 4 TDs. That's 20 yards.
The 242 yards is double, though.
Yeah, we just said that twice. But you weren't paying attention.
Correct.
Also, he doesn't have 7 receptions. The stat sheet says 12. But it's okay.
So it's 6 receptions for 140 yards, which is still impressive.
Anyways, moving on. Thank you, Eagle, for that.
But it's different in that the plays called by Dallaire have guys opening at different levels.
It's also him running after the catch too.
Exactly.
It's not just
him catching full speed as he's crossing over the middle. Again, something where in tackle you might lose your face. It's not going to happen to you in FPF.
The game that really... No, sorry.
There's a game that really
surprised me, but we might have talked about it last week, the Bruins game. I believe we talked about it last week.
We did?
I'm still surprised that they...
Okay.
Supernovas put up 37 against Bruins.
I was listening to Takeshi 6ix9ine.
Hold on.
Here.
How did we talk about that game if it happened on the 22nd?
Did it? On the 22nd?
There's no way.
We didn't talk about it. That makes so much sense to me now. Thank you, Eagle, for being yourself.
Nice. Oh, yeah, it's true. We had a
actually
show
paying attention this time.
Thanks, Eags. So, Tier 3.
Nice. We got a whole bunch of games to talk about.
Yeah. Thanks for writing a script.
No, but the thing is with Supernovas, I honestly thought they would win this game. I thought they were the best team we weren't talking about.
Yes, but that doesn't mean they're going to beat Bruins. Like, Bruins have a special season this season. Everything works for them. Like, the new quarterback runs the perfect offense for these receivers. They're learning really well, and everything seems to click offensively. This guy's averaging like 40 points a game. On the flip side, yes, Supernova is a strong team. Like a receiver like Dagenais Eagle isn't going unnoticed. Problem is, I don't see them being able to keep up with a team like Bruins. I wasn't expecting them to be able to keep up with 39-37 game.
But the big issue here is they kept getting their hand on the ball. Zach Sigler got a PD. Spencer Miller got 3. Benji Ziegler got 2. Like, those plays are... Like, there's such high variance on those kind of plays where essentially one of those gets intercepted, Supernovas win this game.
Yes.
And we're not talking about Mathieu Humet's special season. We're like, the season that almost was for Mathieu Humet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true. Well, even if the Bruins would have lost this one game, I still would have said that this was a special season for Bruins with Mathieu Humet as a quarterback. Like, it sets them up really well for winter.
Well,
I think so.
I was just going to say, actually, if you're looking at, because we know this, if you're looking at the Bruins roster for winter 2019, he's actually not on it. And Gabriel Wiseman has been re-added. So this is the Cinderella run, and then everything turns back into pumpkins. Or
is he playing for another team?
If only there's a way.
Yes, there
is a way.
There's a way.
Yeah, that's why I asked. But it's
just funny that the first impulse wasn't to research. The first impulse was to say, ooh.
Well, I was trying to figure out, like, how would I get that? And then
just the search bar.
But to be fair,
not the same.
A guy like Mathieu Humet, if he can't, like, there's also a possibility where he's not available.
Yeah.
Like, we assume every guy wants to play every season, but maybe he doesn't want to play winter because he has other commitments.
Yeah. Like, maybe he's a stripper and it's a very busy season because it's
cold outside.
wintertime is a good time for strippers.
From what I can tell, he is not on a roster.
Oh, so maybe
can you see if he's a stripper?
Facebook research.
I mean, I can try.
Figure it out, Iggs. Los Banditos beat Pigeon Squad.
Yep.
That I'm not surprised about. I think Los Banditos as the defense.
Honestly, Pigeon Squad had a nice little season. Though.
They had, but
I didn't think very much of them.
I just think this was a bad draw.
They beat Untitled Power and they just everything clicked and they were great. And Ryan Vanstead is an absolute monster. Like I've said it a million times on the show, he was the best acquisition of any team for the fall.
Yep.
But Los Banditos are a tough out unless you have a quarterback who either can really make throws over the top, or if you avoid Vincent Benjamin.
But even if you just avoid Vincent Benjamin, you need to be very accurate and you need to have multiple plays because the Banditos learn as they go, and so you need to be able to have a sort of like a second playbook for the second half where you bring new plays that they haven't seen and they sort of catch them off guard.
But Vincent Benjamin also pick six. That's my point.
Also, yeah, but
and you win by 7.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Vincent Benjamin is gonna make plays. Like he's a very good player. We've talked about him plenty.
And then your point was he can't play in Div 1 because his name isn't known yet, so therefore he can't play in Div 1. Got it.
It's the only reason. Also, nobody gave him a shot yet.
But I honestly, I've watched them play, and there's certain guys I've seen play in Division 5 and 6 where I know. I've seen the caliber in Div 1 too. This guy is that caliber player.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think
so. If he plays against Marc-André Desaulniers, how quick does he complain?
Probably
instantly.
No, I don't think he's gonna complain. I think he's gonna go back to writing his article and say this guy's very good. He's a monstrous, and then he's gonna say, but he's not a CFL player, so he should be 80-80.
But the thing is, honestly, when it comes to Los Banditos, the thing we've always said is that style of offense is not entirely sustainable. You're going to have to be able to throw the ball and being able to run. But that's not the case in this game because Francis Desrochers was excellent throwing the ball.
Los Banditos, they're learning as they go. Like there's a few veterans on the team that used to play in FPF back in the days when we first started. Like Loic Savoie, who used to play for
French Toast Mafia is still one of my favorite team names.
They had so many different team
Chili
names.
Con Carne.
Yeah, they had a bunch like that.
Eagle
all ending with FFC.
Give me the rest of the food team names that Loic Savoie said again for
the
them.
French Toast one, right?
Yeah, French Toast Mafia. It's better if you pay attention to the show.
Chili con carne, yeah.
Chili con
I'm
carne.
trying to find out if Mathieu made the stripper. But
okay.
Seems like he's not, but he also is a beer pong champion for
Whoa, honestly, that's a lot of great life decisions all at once. Because not only is he not a stripper, which nothing against it, but good life decision to not be, but also he's a champion.
Well, male strippers are not as bad.
I don't know that.
They made very good money.
I know one that was a giant cokehead. So that's my assumption for all of them.
You know, you win some, you lose some.
Size.
So chili con carne, FFC, creme de la creme, FFC,
Also
French Toast Mafia, FFC. He also played for Blue Balls of Destiny, which is nice.
Not as
There's Green Lantern Corps.
Okay, but now we don't care.
Widowmakers, yeah.
We don't
but the
care.
big ones were CCC, CDC, and FTM.
Yeah, they were with Widowmakers for a while, but French Toast Mafia is pretty good.
That's a good name.
That's really good.
Simon,
Yes.
the run is over.
I'm very sad.
It was
sad.
so obvious.
I'm so sad.
What are you watching?
Over the weekend?
Bud Knight's still the best defense in FPF history.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Bud Knight's.
Oh, I thought we were talking about
I am. No, but I'm saying, I don't know what you've been watching all season. It was very obvious to me. As good as Jean-Guy, honestly, I couldn't be proud of Jean-Guy. I love guys who are assholes on the field. not to the point where like you want guys who are dirty, you want guys who are jerks to refs, but they're not. They're not.
No.
They're just trash talkers, which I love. I love that.
They're trash talkers and they get in people's heads, but they're honestly at the end of the day, if you
they're
talk to them before or after the game, they're nice guys and they really don't give a fuck. Like they show up because they love football and they want to play, but that's it, right?
But thing,
I was so sad. I was so sad.
Explain to us the moment you realized that this was.
I think it's actually when I messaged you, and I was like, no.
I was at my cottage, and I got a message from two guys from Broken Ankles, saying, "So you really picked Jean-Guy over us? We destroyed them." And I didn't even look at the score sheet. I didn't even know. And I was like, I think it was like Saturday or Friday night. I was like, oh, Jean-Guy lost. Oh, the finals are not going to be as fun now. Because I don't care about Broken Ankles.
You're friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of them are actually like real life friends. It's just I really wanted Jean-Guy to be there.
Talk to me about Alexandre Guertin as a red zone receiver.
He's such a big guy.
Yes.
He's such a big dude. Guertin is a very good receiver. Like,
and teams don't take him seriously when they first see him, right?
Of course not. If you look at him, he looks like a goofball. But
he is.
Yes, he is. But if you I've played with him before. He's been in FPF for
100 years,
7 or 8 years. It's
100.
just he hasn't really been known because he played on teams where he's not the focal point. He's been on lockdown. That's how far he's gone.
He actually threw for David De La Rocca's Los Banditos.
Yes, he played quarterback. Yeah, he stint at quarterback for a little while. He's a nice guy, but the thing he's like 6'3", 6'4", 250. He's just a monster on the
And
field.
a better athlete though than you think.
Oh yeah,
He's got some of the quickest feet for a guy his size. You know.
You can move, and the thing about him is he's a very tough guy to cover in the lower divisions. Like he reminds me a lot of the well, it's a tough comparison, but he's sort of like a poor man's Paul Lapierre.
Or poor man's Junior Luke. A very poor man's Junior Luke.
Very poor man's Junior Luke. It's
a destitute Junior
his
Luke.
size makes him a very tough guy to cover, and he understands the game because he's tried pretty much every position.
Yeah.
And I think he found his style as a snapper and a red zone threat. And this is, if you can find a quarterback that's able to use him that way, he's going to be very successful. Problem is most guys don't. He's playing in lower divisions, like 6'5", and guys don't necessarily use him as that type of player.
Well, also he used to start or basically line up always as a wide receiver, always on the edge, right? So a lot of those inside routes weren't as available. It was always like the goes and everything you had to get, the comeback routes. Whereas if you're playing center, you really have the option of going wherever you want, boxing people out, getting underneath the rusher, and really creating that separation.
So snapper to me is more art than science.
Sorry, what? Sorry.
It's more art than science. It's something I learned by playing the position in that. The cleanliness of your route, the speed and all that doesn't matter as much as how understanding spacing, understanding where you belong on each play, and what the defense is doing and how to free yourself. And the thing with I will say is playing, let's say like with if you have a guy like Alexandre Cartin, snappers are great red zone targets that low division quarterbacks fear throwing to in the red zone because there's a lot of traffic. But he's so big that there's not a reason to just gun the ball in his chest every time you're at the 2-yard line.
There's a lot of traffic, and it's usually what happens when you're playing lower division. Something I had issues with in the past is, even though your guy technically is open, if you're looking at, that Madden view where you see like the quarterback and you see the entire
but
field.
The snapper is in the way.
You feel like
the rusher's in the
he's
way.
open, but the rusher's coming, and the safety usually just sits behind him, right? Like he's right there. The guy in the middle is right behind your guy, and he looks like he's about to jump over his shoulder and play the ball. So if you do it one or two times and it doesn't work, you feel like this play will never work because there's a rusher that's crossing over, blocks the pat, and on top of that, there's a guy playing that ball, or guys could be shooting from other positions. So you sort of forget that they can't all do that at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not all these scenarios.
They don't all know that you're throwing to the snapper.
All these possibilities can't happen all at once. And if it does, then there's like 4 guys that are open.
Yeah.
Right? So
which is also awesome.
Yeah, which is also pretty good.
So do you feel like since you've been a quarterback, it's helped your game as snapper in terms of understanding
100%.
those things? Do you think Cartin is going through the same type of experience?
100%. And Mike O'Donnell's told me the same thing. A lot of guys have told me the same thing in that when you're snapping, you have a similar view of the play as the quarterback. And you kind of see a lot of the things you do are later breaking. Like, so you have to go around the snapper, go under the snapper, but then you're very seldomly the first read, so you see the play break open. And so once you play quarterback and that kind of happens, then as a receiver, it helps you be like, okay, I now understand when Simon's looking for me, for example, what he sees and why he can't see that I'm open. Why is it that not only to throw it to me, but even I'll come back, let's say we play together, I've come back to you and be like, hey, this happened. Why didn't you hit the deep end on the other side? Because this and this happened on defense.
But you see it from a different angle than wide receivers, and then you understand it also defensively that how snappers run their patterns. So if you're playing, let's say you're playing the flats, you understand that the snapper is sort of like the second guy coming at you. Yeah. Right. So if one guy bails out, somebody else is coming the other way, which is usually the snapper, and then you could jump him as a defensive player. But as an offensive player, understanding that, I agree with you that you don't need to be the fastest guy on the field to play snapper as long as you understand what's happening. And if you're just trying to be super athletic and beat receivers on one-on-ones, you might actually not be open.
Well, that being said, in this game, Cartin 2 receptions for 54 yards and 2 TDs. So something doesn't work out there for the short red zone stuff.
No, but we're speaking comment, like not specifically about this game, just saying what he adds to an offense like broken ankles.
Also, there's this thing that's called the fat man tackles. You're trying to go for it.
And since I lost weight, I don't get yaks anymore. It's the worst. I got deflagged at the 1 6 times this season. It's the worst.
Maybe you should be faster.
And well, that's also not going to happen. I'm 36 years old, man.
So maybe you should put on more weight.
Christophe Chartrand.
Yes.
Where does he go from here?
Listen.
This is his best season by far.
this was a good season for them. This was a very good season for them. They went undefeated. They lost in the semifinals. If this was winter, this would be like a glorified season.
But do you think they want to go anywhere? Not really.
I don't think so.
I think they're happy where they are.
I think they'll be a Division 5 team.
I think they should come back as a Division 6.
I don't think they should.
Like, not 6D, 6.
Yeah, I agree.
6 team. They'll be a good above 500 team in Division 6.
Agreed.
I think they're gonna find more success by playing Division 6. If they move up to like the 5B, for instance, they're gonna struggle against the better teams and they're gonna have a weaker season. Whereas I don't think Shanky is the sort of team that's actually gonna dominate and put up 40 burgers on teams that are new to Div 6. Right? Like if you're putting a team together, Shanky is not a team that really scares you to play. They have a good rusher. It's a tough defense to play against, but until their offense is able to score 6 or 7 touchdowns on a regular basis, I don't see why they should be forced to move up.
And I think the happy-go-luckiness of the way their team is designed would actually penalize them in Div 5, where, not to say that people take it really seriously, but you know how it is, right? Yeah. Everyone thinks they're like an NFL player in Div 5, so it's like, all the hype and whatever it is, but it's like, people run practices and scrims before the season, and you have your playbook, and then there's Jean-Guy who just come and be like, let's have some fun. I love football.
I think that Jean-Guy is the perfect Division 6 team.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so like one of those like communal long-term teams that you've seen.
It's a group of friends that just want to have fun.
It's a benchmark Division 6 team that you could put out there, say, if these guys finish 6 and 4, then we should be all right. I don't understand who comes here. I don't understand.
I think my car's no way.
Oh, maybe. Oh, it wasn't yours that was parked?
No. I got here after you. Let's see. Also, the show's live. So, Simon, want to carry the show for a few minutes?
Yes, I got this. Is it actually yours or is it mine? Okay. So, I shall carry the show because Peeze had things to do. You couldn't park properly. It's not super complicated not to park it in front of other people's cars. Anyways, Jean-Guy, I think, like you said, Eagle, earlier, I think it's the perfect Division 6 team. They'll be just fine in Division 6. I think moving forward, and this next winter season, they should be able to look at a winning record. I believe Jean-Guy will be able to pull up a 6-4, 7-3 roster. And this is not just me being the Jean-Guy fan. I actually believe they're there now. They weren't there last season.
Let's use this opportunity to switch from one team which you were very down upon them losing to another team you must have been happy about. Of course, I'm talking about MACDO.
MACDO, yes, sir.
So they won 24-12 versus the Bulldogs.
This is, as much as I like MACDO, this sort of surprises me. It's their first season. They didn't play their week 1 game because they had a forfeit against them, so they used the time to practice. And I saw most of the practice, I think it was week 2. I saw most of it, and they looked disorganized. MACDO didn't seem to know what they were doing. There was one guy trying to call things on the field and sort of knew what to do, but the rest of the team sort of looked lost. And after I saw, I think, their second, which was their first game, but their second game and third game, and they just looked like a fun bunch of guys. That's why I like MACDO. It's a good team name. They're a fun bunch of guys, and they didn't take it too seriously. But they've really improved since the midpoint of the season. They've hit their stride late in the season. They managed to get a few turnovers. Their defense is playing well. Their offense puts up just enough to win. In their first round of the playoffs, that was their first round of the playoffs. They got a bye because they were a higher seed, and now they won 24-12. So their defense got it done. And now they're going to play in the finals Saturday against Replacements, who, to be fair, is pretty much a team that resembles MACDO.
Totally here the whole time.
Yeah, so I was thinking, MACDO beats Bulldogs. MACDO now plays Replacements in the finals, who's a team that's very similar to MACDO, where it's a fun group of guys that doesn't necessarily have the strongest offense, but their defense bails them out, and their offense just enough.
Yeah, they're fast, they're quick players.
They'll get like 25 points a game ish on good days. And they'll win because their defense is good. And that's sort of what Replacements have been able to do. Listen, I'm surprised Replacements are in the finals, to be honest with you. I said they would lose to Ox, and then I said
but we're not previewing the games yet.
No. Okay.
By the way, whichever one of you...
Sick transition!
It's the next thing we're doing. We have other games covered now.
Yes.
I was totally here, so I know.
Which one of you said that Gatain was snapping? You're wrong.
I thought so.
He lets us know. I'm also playing as a slot receiver this season, but thanks for the praise about my snapping abilities.
The snapping abilities are great. Honestly, I was good. So I saw them play once this season. He was playing slot. I assumed there was the one game and that you had inside information.
Move back to snapper. You're a better snapper.
I know, man. 2 catches, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns.
but then you could have more catches as a snapper and still more yards and touchdowns.
Correct. Bud Knights, legendary defense.
Legendary.
Wins 19-9 over Llamas Pyjamas. Want to know why? Legendary defense. The greatest defense in the history of FPF.
6, by the way, not the 9.
What?
I was like, how did they score 9 points?
Oh, 6. Sorry,
19-6. They hold the team to 6 points in the playoffs. What's up, Bud Knights? Listen, I was very high on Bud Knights initially for shutting down a team, and then they just played terribly since. So I sort of got off the bandwagon and didn't care about Bud Knights.
Jerk.
Isn't that what I do?
I mean, can you make the case, though, that they weren't going to put up a lot of points anyways?
Who, Llamas Pyjamas?
Yeah.
No, I disagree.
I think that's what we said last week.
Llamas
And then I like
put up
Olivier
37.
Godard, but the team as a whole just hasn't clicked
They
on
put up
offense.
37 in the first round.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
That's first round.
Llamas
That's
Pyjamas put up
still a lot of points.
159 points in their first 8 games.
Okay, but they put up
And
37
that includes a
last round.
60-0 forfeit. So they literally they put up 99 points in 7 games.
But-
If you're counting at home, that's 14.14 points
But 37 last week,
every week.
right? Like,
And 6 this week. I mean, yes,
19.
okay, fine.
Oh,
Bud
sorry.
Knight's
maybe this
defense
is Bud
good.
Knight's defense. Showing up.
Look,
They showed up one time in the season, and now they showed up again in the playoffs.
Olivier Godard is a guy I think has a bright future in FPF. It's just you can tell it's not there.
Yeah, but
the
it takes
ideas, the concepts are not there. The delivery's not on time.
Yeah,
the
but-
ball's not well
Yeah,
located. But there's something there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
but you know, like all these things, it takes time. Like their first season in FPF, it rarely goes great.
and your first season throwing in FPF.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking quarterbacks.
Okay.
It rarely goes great. Like you usually make a few mistakes here and there, and things don't necessarily go your way. We've seen in the past. We've seen some Cinderella stories. Teams go 14-0 in the first seasons, but it's rare. It doesn't happen often. And then most cases when that happens, these teams don't last
Mm-hmm.
for whatever other reasons. So I believe there's something there, but it's going to take a little while. And it's good to see that he's found some success early in the early in his FPF career. And I hope they join in the winter.
They
and
are.
follow
They're
through.
registered for Div 6.
There you go. So I think it's a good place for them to be. It's going to be in this fall season with a nice stepping stone. They're going to be good in Div 6, and they're going to face teams that might not be where they are now. That's going to give them an edge.
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing about fall season is you're playing against a bunch of teams. There's not a lot of new teams in the fall season, so you're playing against a bunch of teams who've been playing FPF for a long time, who knows what they're doing. So you're learning against veteran teams or tougher opponents.
But you learn quick that way.
But that's it. So when you're playing winter and you're playing against a bunch of new teams and you're sort of resetting, but you already have experience, it gives you a nice leg up on a lot of teams.
Yeah. But Knights, though, this was a good game. The thing that worries me, Matthew Pigeon in this game, Keljan in this game, only 12 completions, 98 yards. Not really a great showing for their offense. Do you think they'll be able to score enough? We'll get into a specific breakdown later, but do you think they'll be able to score enough to win a cup?
Offensively, I think it's going to come down to they're going to have to bend the bend. They're going to have to fall back on their defense a lot and play field positioning. So you might not finish with 200 yards, but you might be able to finish with 4 or 5 touchdowns. This is what's going to matter. You should find a way to run it a little bit more, use his legs. He's a fast guy. He's athletic. He should be able to incorporate that into his offense a little bit more. It opens up the field for him if he starts moving around and running when it's open. His completion percentage is good. It's just the yards are minimal.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have a lot of room to work with, a lot of field to work with, they should be able to do some damage. I think this is one of the rare games where it's going to come down to the defense being able to give them good field positioning for their offense to put up 25, 30 points and win the finals.
I thought Teen Stars were going to put up a good showing in the playoffs.
They did not.
Freshlings showed up and said, "You're going to learn today."
Oh, they learned a lot.
Matthew Lerner, baby.
I don't think they
4
actually
touchdowns.
learned. I think they just got blown away. 37-14 is pretty much of a beatdown.
Or maybe they learned something.
Fresh Lungs put up 30
It's
in the
also
first
his name
half.
is Lerner.
Yeah, but if they put up 30
He
points in the first half,
learned them real good.
So looking at the score
Learn?
sheet,
Like, it sounds like to learn. Hi.
looking at the score sheet, the Teen Stars show up late.
Again?
Well, because there's only 4 touchdowns offensively in total for Fresh Lungs, and 37 points is more than 4 touchdowns. So did they start like 14-0 or 12-0?
I mean, the first half is 13-6.
Yeah, but
so
did the game start 12-0 for Fresh Lungs, and then
probably.
the Teen Stars just try to keep up, and they
Maybe.
only had 4 touchdowns?
Soon we will have better stats.
According to the stat sheet, that's exactly what happened. So,
Yeah.
listen, if that's the case, then kudos for Fresh Lungs for showing up on time.
That said, if that's the case, if Matthew Lerner didn't even play a full game and threw for 205 yards, and if Olivier Delieres
18 for 22 is
went 6 for 83 and 2 touchdowns,
Mhm.
which one is most impressive? Matthew Lerner's performance, Olivier Delieres' performance, or the fact that all 4 receivers, 14 stars, have a name that starts with J.
That's pretty funny. But a lot of guys on that team have
Names that
4
start
out
with
of
J.
6 starts with J, so it's a bit biased.
Also weird.
I'm surprised by Matthew Lerner's 18 for 22. Like he's a sort of we've seen him in the past. He's a sort of quarterback that look like tunnel vision's one receiver and really needs him to have a big game for him to sort of develop. And in this game, he's used 3 receivers as more than 3 catches. Right,
Mhm.
3 receivers as touchdowns and more than 3 catches. So he's starting to learn how to spread the ball a little bit more and use different patterns to get different guys open. 18 for 22 is a very good stat line. 18 for 22, 205 yards. He had a very good game against Teen Stars. And listen, if Fresh Lung's able to play this way on Saturday, they might actually win the finals and not need his brother.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing for him. Like it's a nice way for him to learn.
To what?
For him to learn.
That's right. No, the thing is, I was talking to Justin Lerner at the field one day, and I said, and he was watching. He was just there watching Matthew Lerner play his brother, and I said, you know what? I think this is possibly the best thing for him to develop as a quarterback.
I think so too. I think he was a sort of a crutch where he knew he had to use him because he's the best player on the field, but that doesn't allow the quarterback to learn and progress as a quarterback. To Matthew and progress.
I was gonna do that every time you said, just because you kept repeating the same word. It's awesome.
Also, we're getting hate mail.
Nice.
Cool.
Dagenais is vintage Dagenais, outdoing the Dagenais from 2 years ago.
Wow, that's tough because that's the worst level of Dagenais. That's the darkest timeline Dagenais.
Thank you, Mokan. I love you.
Mokan.
To be fair, 2 years ago he didn't break down the rusher of the wrong team. So replacements put up points. They beat the Trojans 30-14. Is this more to say about the replacements' offense or the ineptitude of the defense they played against?
138 yards passing, 40 yards rushing. That's a combine of a 178. That's all replacement offense playing well. Like they scored 5 times, 180 yards. They basically drove the field every single drive.
Mm-hmm.
This is replacement finally having an offense. I've been knocking them every week, shamelessly saying their offense is not very good. And they proved me wrong. They played well. They managed to get the ball back multiple times, 2 interceptions.
11 for 18 by Frank Tioli Colatrella. Very good outing for him.
It's good, and it's something that they need to incorporate more in their team is the whole like rushing aspect of it. He's fast. Yes, fast receivers. They need to run more because it's helping them develop as a quarterback.
That said, when they run the option, it's not super effective.
I didn't say running the option. I said run as a quarterback.
I don't know if they've run that a ton this season, but I've seen them play in the past, and I was like, yo, that doesn't work in FPF.
No.
Can you guys refresh my memory? Is this the first team comprised of free agents from a couple of years ago that stuck together?
I don't remember.
Replacements?
Yeah.
Is that why they're called replacements?
I don't remember.
I thought that was the team. I'll have to check. But I remember like our first time we did the free agency. By the way, December 3rd. If you guys want to come check it out, the Monday night.
No, I don't
I'm
think.
Finally off from FPF.
No, I don't think that was them.
Oh.
Because replacements have been around for more than a year, right? Like the free
Yeah, but it wasn't.
last
It was the year before that.
Oh, maybe.
So if this is the same core that stuck together, that would be pretty cool.
Send Frank a message and ask him.
I should.
He'll know.
Yeah, he'll answer pretty quick usually. So you can do that.
Honestly, I'm surprised. I'm impressed with their offense. I think they played well throughout the last few weeks. They've impressed me back-to-back weeks. And listen, if they're able to keep up putting up 30 points, and their defense keeps playing the way they are,
that's what's gonna take.
Their defense is good, right? Like they've never had problems defensively, but it's offensively.
Eagle, I need you to list the first bowl game, because I never remember who. Because I hate the names of the bowl games.
You're talking about the actual bowl games.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ones in FPF.
No, but because we did some last week. That's why. Do you want to do those ones again?
No, the ones we haven't broken down yet.
We did some.
If you can list the games, and then we'll break down the games.
I understand.
And like again, the whole thing of naming them after active NFL active FPF players, I find very
They're
bizarre.
all active.
Mostly.
Well, there was a few names that were not active anymore.
Who?
Like Nathan Taylor.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, but not
But
usually.
like
There's
a
a few
second
guys.
ago.
There's a few guys from like Rainmakers also that don't play.
I mean, but also I don't know. Just name me enough to play.
I agree with you. We've had
But-
this debate.
I mean,
still
the
believe
NCAA
that-
figured out, hey, let's put sponsors everywhere.
but we don't have sponsors. So speaking of, if you want to sponsor FPF, send
Give
a
us
message.
money,
S-
or we'll take it. What?
Send me a message. We'll get it figured out. It's actually not going to go in my pockets this time.
You're gonna have to give me
You're
a few
welcome to Zone.
seconds, so keep stalling.
Man, so much stalling.
I know.
Yeah.
For the second time tonight.
Good luck checking the website right now. By the way.
I know. I'm realizing that too.
Sounds like a you problem, Eagle.
Nope. Sounds like
Very
website
much
you
a
problem.
problem. Guess who's getting a nasty
we could
email?
talk about the first. We could talk about the first matchup. I just don't know the bowl name. It's Boundaries All against 2HD
Okay.
in Tier 1. I
Let's
just
do
don't know the bowl name.
In one of the bowls,
So
worst possible matchup for Les Banditos.
yes,
Because
if Boundaries All would have played lightweight instead, we would have been crushed. Like it's a sort of offense and defense that Boundaries All excel at playing against.
Eagle, what's this
Yeah,
bowl called?
So we already did the Theo Ajay Bowl, right?
Yes.
We already did
Two
the
and a half dance. Where are we at?
2.5
He doesn't listen.
No.
Does it?
No, we didn't do. No, because we didn't do the Dream Breakers with.
We're in Tier 1.
Yeah.
Dream Breakers don't play Tier 1.
Pew pew pew.
So Tier 1, you have Theo Ajay and you have Nick Arsenal-Ham.
So it's a Nick
So
Humble.
It's the Nick Arsenal Humble.
Yes.
Where we have 2.5 dance play against Les Banditos.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, that
we're
was
all
not so
we're all on
complicated.
the same show.
Okay. Boundaries All. The thing is, it's a very strong team. Composed. Jesus, that was tough.
Comprised, composed,
Comprised.
revised,
Made of
visited, made of.
a bunch of veterans from FPF that played in Division 1 for a very long time. So it's very athletic players that are used to playing man one-on-ones and winning matchups the football way. When they play a team like 2.5 Dan, which I believe they have this season. Eagle, can you pull up the...
Yeah, it was an
Nope.
epic game. It was a game of the week.
You're going to do it anyways. I don't care.
Can't pull it up.
It was game of the week.
Figure it out.
It was game of the week. And 2.5 dance were 5 players.
Uh,
And it was a competitive game. It was sick. It was one of the best games of the week we've ever
I
seen.
don't remember watching that. Maybe I should dig it up.
Yeah.
Mitch somewhere.
I
Interesting.
believe it was while you were out of town, to be fair.
Oh, okay. So, anyways.
Cozumel. Right? No, Croatia is where you went.
Yeah. I went
I
to
knew it was a
Cozumel.
sea place.
That's not the same.
No,
It's in Mexico.
it starts with the sea, though.
True. So, anyways, I just think that Boundaries All have the potential to play aggressively against 2.5 Dans and shut it down, but they'll get frustrated because of what it looks like and what it is. And we've talked about this last week. When you play Boundaries All, how do you beat them? It's by frustrating them early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be like a sort of a testament to their patience and their discipline. Can they stay disciplined? Because their offense is going to score. I have no doubt that Boundaries All is going to be able to put up points against 2.5 Dans every single drive. But then so does Joey Taylor. So it's going to be who makes the first mistake, whether it's Joey Taylor that doesn't manage to frustrate the other team enough, or Nick Chantomo who has a brain fart that he does sometimes. Like
Yeah.
it's a typical Division 1 team or strong Division 2 team playing against what Joey believes is a Div 3 team. Right, so if 2.5 Dan wins this, then there's no reason for Joey Taylor to ever be in Division 3 again. Right?
Yeah.
And that makes a
The
very
thing we keep hearing.
and even if it's a close game, that means you're able to keep up with one of the best teams in Division 2. There you go, Joey. You're welcome.
It's the hardest thing is there's a perceived different. Like there is a difference between Division 2 and 3.
Yes,
without-
it's a
without doubt.
huge gap.
I don't think it's a huge gap. I think we perceive it to be a huge gap because it's always been that way. But the level of play of guys like Sean Avram and like Joey Taylor, and the
I don't think
systems
it's the
that they're bringing
quarterback's the
in
problem.
What?
I think it's not the quarterback's the problem. It's something we've discussed before with
is the
certain
lack of players.
It's Division 2 is made of like 50% of Division 1 players, right? It's Division 1 who wants to play on the second team with different guys, with friends, or Div 1 is my competitive team. Div 2 is my let's have fun team. The same way a lot of guys do in Division 3 and 4, 4 and 5, and so on. The thing is, when you're moving up from Division 3 to Division 2, you want to add to your team the same way you do when you're moving up from 5 to 4 or 4 to 3. The thing is, there's not a huge pool of players that want to play Division 1 and 2 or are able to. And guys are not necessarily looking out for the up-and-comers, let's say, like you mentioned, the Vincent Benjamins of this world. The guys that we
That's what I'm
believe-
saying. So maybe the key for say Joey Taylor, Sean Avram, and Sean Avram has done this before, by the way, going to get Jordan Lard, for example.
Yeah.
the key is not looking at the divisions ahead of you, but maybe looking at divisions below you for scouring for that talent.
If you could find one or two guys that are willing to play in higher divisions, they're gonna give you a shot, right? Like if your ratings there, guys are gonna trust the system and say, okay, we'll give it a shot because what do I have to lose? Worst case, we have a bad season.
Yeah,
and it's not that bad. Like if you actually watch Division 2 games, yes, some teams are very good, but some aren't.
But as I'm saying, in general, I feel the gap is closing because with more players entering the league,
the gap is
there's
closing,
more good players entering the league as well.
But it's the whole I can't find guys to play with.
But you can
argument. You can, but guys don't want to. But it's the same thing you do. You don't want to play with guys you don't know. At the end of the day, I want to play with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
My friends already play Div 2. I can't play with them because they already have a team. So me moving up means I have to build a new team, which is not what I want to do.
Fair.
It's a tough argument. I understand it. I understand the both sides. It's doable, but I understand that you don't necessarily want to do it. So you see sort of a in French was a stag, but I don't know English. I don't know what to say. And I understand Joey Taylor's argument. I just believe he could be successful in Division 2.
I think so as well. And I think like I said,
more so than Sean Abram.
Like I agree, and A, because he's better, and B, because I'm telling you, I'm not joking when I say this. The system Joey Taylor has brought to FPF has changed FPF in a way no one would have expected.
100%.
And I don't I've told him this, and I don't believe he even recognizes the impact he's had on FPF.
He doesn't. I remember watching 2.5 Dans a while back, like 4 years ago, and making fun of that system. That it's not, it's not going to work for a long time.
Then it did. And it's not going to work when they move up, and then it did. Yeah. And then it's not going to work when they move up again, and it did.
Because nobody really found how to stop it efficiently.
Well, holding.
But you say
you
that.
need to hold.
You say that, which, again, if you talk to people who won game against Joey Taylor, it's easy to beat them, but you won 43-37.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to score anyway.
Right? Like, the point is, it's easy to beat them. Not really. You put up 43 to win. It's not like you shut them out to 12 points and you just put up, 4 touchdowns and won the game.
Yeah.
It's not an easy game to play. You have to go score for score with them the whole way, which is essentially what it is when you play the finest.
Eagle, next game.
The next game is going to be the Kevin Wyeth Bowl. And this is going to have, I believe it's SWAT versus Sweat and Beers.
So Kevin Wyeth is not playing the Kevin Wyeth Bowl?
He's not.
I heard a rumor about that. He was very mad. He wanted to play in the Kevin Wyeth Bowl.
No, he wants to win all of them. He wants to have every single name. Like a notch on his belt.
He should actually get he should go to a deluxe costume shop and have fake heads made and mount them in his
what
basement.
I'm gonna do is next fall I'm gonna call him up and say you should play with me in the lower divisions, and then you could win the lower bowl because you're gonna throw for this team. But the problem is nobody likes you. I understand. I know.
Nobody wants to be near you.
I know that's the problem. It's the only reason why.
It's the only reason. The thing is that
I can't look it up.
I can't look it up either. We're kind of going blind, but it's okay. The thing is, with all the divisions, I felt that Tier 2 and Tier 1 had the biggest gap between them.
Yes.
And it's awesome that SWAT was able to move up. And what's been impressive is...
They didn't move up. SWAT stayed in the same pool.
I understand, but they're able to rise above their challenge and still make it to the bowl game, despite playing competing against potential Tier 1 teams that have the best, the better talent.
Down against them.
Exactly. And so it shows that even with that big gap, it's still closer than we thought it was.
SWAT is it's a good team made of guys who've been in FPF for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Aney's been in FPF for longer than we have. Gino DeFazio's been in FPF for longer than we have.
Who's got a deeper roster, though?
Deeper roster? I think SWAT has...
I disagree.
I think Sweat and Beers has a deeper roster because SWAT is more top-heavy.
Yeah.
And
SWAT have two phenomenal players, and Sean Haney and Isaiah Lard.
Yes.
And a lot of very good players. I'm not it's not disparaging against...
Alexandre Blais is very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
He played that one team that played in Div A last spring that we all mocked.
Mm-hmm.
He was a snapper. He's a very, very good player. The problem is... they're
freshman?
Yes, that's it. The problem the problem here is you're gonna face a team that is good. It's gonna come down to can Isaiah Lard shut down Robbie Robinson.
I don't think he will. The ball comes out of Robbie's hands so quickly.
That's the thing. So if Robbie tries to move,
Mhm.
he's going to find a matchup that he's going to lose every single time. Isaiah Lard's going to win that matchup if he tries to move, run around, and bite him.
I agree.
If he gets the ball out quickly, then you're going to see Isaiah try to make plays, because that's what he's done all season. Is if you actually watch him play, it's very successful. Don't get me wrong, and his stats are amazing. But it's a little bit egoistic when he tries to jump a route, because that means he's not rushing, right?
Yeah.
And then the defense falls apart. If the guy pump fakes and Isaiah Lard jumps, then nobody's rushing, and the quarterback has all day. And this is something that Robbie's going to pick up very fast. So if Isaiah Lard's going to have to stop doing it, he might be able to do it once or twice.
Well, between the no-look passes, the pumps, and the ability to get the ball out quickly, Robbie Robinson's going to be a tough matchup for Isaiah Lard.
Yes,
Which Isaiah Lard hasn't experienced all season.
But it's also funny. It looks like this is like 2008 or 10 years back, where Gino DeFazio plays against Robbie Robinson quarterbacks.
Well, what's interesting there is I didn't think much of Sweat and Beers, because all season long they never really had their full roster.
Yep.
And then when we played against them, for example, it's like, oh, looking across the field, they win every matchup. So
they're a juggernaut team when they're playing weaker opponents. It's just
but even if they're not, the whole team, they don't have a weak spot on the team.
no,
The
not
whole
really.
team is solid. The whole team is good. Maybe they don't have a star like Isaiah Lard, like Sean Haney, but the team itself is good. The one thing I will say is Gino DeFazio will be able to pick on what Sweat and Beers do on defense.
Oh yeah,
It's too obvious.
It's going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah,
because
but I think that favors Sweat and Beers.
I don't believe either's defense is going to be able to stop the other team's offense. I think both quarterbacks are smart enough to know how to play against what they're going to play against. It's the sort of defense that they're going to excel against. And we might have the highest scoring bowl. This might be the highest scoring bowl we're going to have all together.
And Robbie Robinson once lost the semifinal game where the two teams combined scored 80 points and he lost by 1 point.
It's
So,
crazy.
Eagle, next game.
The next game is going to be the Carmen Peliche Bowl, and this is going to have Dream Breakers versus, I want to say, did Outlaws win?
Outlaws won.
Then Outlaws.
This is a tough draw for Outlaws. Outlaws had to pay easy W, and they got by a point. Defense bailed out Stephen Harpersad. I think this is another defense that's going to give Stephen Harpersad a ton of trouble.
I think that what works really well for Outlaws is the size matchup of like Kevin Smuda, for instance. But Dreambreakers have the players to reduce his impact. Nobody can really shut down Kevin Smuda in this sort of matchup.
I will say, with the offense that Stephen Harpersad runs, and Stephen Harpersad's very risk averse, that if you know what Kevin Smuda is running, you don't need to cover him so much as you need to cut off the route.
Mm-hmm.
If he sees you bearing down the route, he will not force the ball to Kevin Smuda.
Okay.
That's how you defend Kevin Smuda in this offense.
Okay, well, that's the thing. I think Dreambreakers is a fast and aggressive football team defensively. And it's something that might cause issues for Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
Or, on the flip side, they might be very, very successful. I think it's going to be a boom or bust game for Outlaws. They're either going to put up squat or they're going to put up 50. Right?
Yeah.
Their offense is going to be so efficient that Dreambreakers is going to just try to find a solution. It's never going to work for them.
I think it's going to be a lot like Outlaws' first game, where it's the defense, each defense will make a few plays. The offenses overall will be very efficient, but maybe 2 punts for one team, or an interception, a punt, and the other team will have an interception or a punt.
So a few turnovers each.
It's going to be a touchdown game. It's going to be like 5 or 6 points inside this game.
Okay. I see.
Also, do we do picks? What's your pick for the first game? 2.5 downs?
No, I didn't get any boundaries off.
I'm going 2.5 downs. You're picking the second game?
What was the second game? SWAT against Sweat and Beers?
Yeah.
Sweat and Beers.
I'm going Sweat and Beers as well. This game. Outlaws.
Give me Dreambreakers.
Give me Dreambreakers as well. And I hate to say, because honestly, I love the guys from Outlaws.
I think it's two good teams, but Dreambreakers are on like a special role at the moment. I think it's going to be a good season for them.
Eagle, next game.
All right. In the next game, it's going to be the Pat Chenard Bowl, and this is going to be Los Banditos, definitely, and Unknown Talent won, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unknown Talents won, and what was the other one?
Los Banditos.
That's a fun game.
It's fun because Los Banditos is, as we mentioned, their offense is playing well now. What they're doing is successful. Their defense has always been their strongest part. But unknown talent is very good.
Does Alessandro Barazzoni have the FPF knowledge to beat the Banditos defense? Does he have a play repertoire large enough to beat Los
think
Banditos?
unknown talent has enough raw talent to win matchups 1-on-1. Not every one of them, but a
Just
few.
not the one advanced Benjamin.
No, but not every one of them, but a few.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to exploit that well. And they're going to force those Banditos to move around and change their looks, because if one guy keeps getting beat on, you can't let it happen over and over again, right? So those Banditos are going to have to scramble and figure it out. And I think they will at some point, but it might be too little too late.
Who's your pick?
Unknown talent.
I am going to go Los Banditos.
Cool.
There's something special about them this season. And honestly, to me, Vincent Benjamin, I keep saying that he's one of my favorite talents in low division.
He's very good. I think Los Banditos is a very good team. It's going to come. If it comes down to offense against offense, that's why I'm picking unknown talent.
All right. We have the Rosti Banablacato Bowl. I can never pronounce that properly. And in this one, we have Bruins versus, I think, Broken Ankles.
Yes.
Yes. Your boys, Broken Ankles. Do they have a chance?
Listen, they think they do, but I don't think so. I don't think Broken Ankles is the sort of team that scores 40. Right?
Mm-hmm.
From what we've seen from Bruins all season, is they're going to put up 38, 39, 40 points. This is what they've been doing all season, and I don't see Broken Ankles having the defense to shut that down.
Is Antoine Hoyen the X factor in that he's not only a fantastic receiver on a team full of very good receivers, but also a rusher who has the ability to shut down a guy like Jean Lemieux who needs to buy time to be effective?
Yes. If you're able to get in his head and get a sack early, it's the sort of situation that really hurts him. Although last week when they played Janky, who has a phenomenal rusher, it didn't seem to affect him at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, listen, maybe he got over that whole playing against the rusher game. I just think that Bruins have a special player, Mathieu Ouimet, and he's going to come out with the MVP at the end of this game.
For Broken Ankles to win this bowl game, they will need to
put up 40. I think they can. I think the Bruins defense is not efficient enough to shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen Jonathan Amir have a 40-burger game in a very, very long time.
Eagle next game. Oh, yeah, pick. Sorry, that's what I forgot. Your pick is Bruins?
Yeah.
My pick is also Bruins. Eagle.
Next, we have the Keyshawn Thompson bracket and bowl. I don't know why we call it bracket of a sudden.
Bracket bowl. The bracket bowl.
In this, we're going to
the bowl of
have
brackets.
the Remplacement versus MACDO.
MACDO!
I'll start with the pick in this one. Just throw a little bit off. I like replacements in this game. Frankie Tioli Colatrella has developed a lot. He's using his legs effectively. He's not looking to run, but he will take off if it's there. Very good athlete. And the defense on the whole has improved. Their offense is doing just enough to keep them in games, and I think the defense will win it against the inexperienced MACDO. You're picking MACDO because
I'm picking MACDO. MACDO's defense, they slow the game down just enough that they don't need to have 5 or 6 or 7 possessions in a game. They score enough. They get turnovers. They're going to frustrate replacements offense. I don't think they have the playmakers to sort of take away what MACDO does well. And their speed is going to be problematic for Frank Tioli. I see this going to be a very close game, but MACDO is going to win some in a shutout, like 24-18, something like that. It's going to be a low-scoring game that's determined by a single score late in the game.
Eagle, next ball.
This is actually the last one. It's going to be the Paul Lapierre Bowl, and this is going to be Bud Knights versus Fresh Lungs.
So, the legendary defense of the Bud Knights.
The incredible defense of Bud Knights. Find a way to shut down Matthew Lerner.
That's the one. Or will they learn in this game?
Or will we learn that Bud Knights' defense is not very good?
What will we learn in this game?
I believe that Bud Knights...
We've driven that joke so far into the ground.
It's
got to do not resuscitate on it.
I think Bud Knights has just enough players to take away 1 or 2 guys from Fresh Lungs. Force Matthew Lerner to go to his 3rd or 4th guy, which he's not comfortable doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see the bad Matthew Lerner for 44 minutes.
So, with Bud Knights, we saw them start off great, then struggle. Now winning 2 playoff games, how do you think they've developed?
I think it's just a matter of finding the 1 or 2 plays that really work well for them and sticking to a smaller playbook.
So, as time went on this season, Is it safe to say that they learned?
No.
I was trying to beat you to
Stop.
say it. I was trying to beat Simon to say it.
It's dead.
No,
It
I
died like
so
6
you
minutes
so you're
ago.
thinking they win this game, Bud Knights, just to prove that you were right about their defense in the first place?
Yes.
No, Olivier Delaris is honestly, no one knows this guy yet, but he is borderline unstoppable on both sides of the ball.
It's good.
He just was underused when Justin Lerner was there, when Darren McDazian was there. Olivier Delaris to me is the man. He's going to pose all sorts of problems for them, and Freshlings will win by 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Oh boy. Okay.
Simon,
Yes, it's my name.
you got 90 seconds of heat for us?
Yes, it's like last week's edition of.
I figure your girl shouldn't be the only one to experience your 90 seconds of heat. So every week,
so
we asked
essentially the
Simon.
same joke as last week.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I feel like we did that one before.
yeah.
Yeah, Peeze not very creative.
Not tonight. Not tonight. I'm very tired.
Not ever.
I spent all day arguing with someone who wasn't listening, so it was tough.
Ayo.
Wrecked.
So the other thing is, every week we ask Simon to prepare a list of FPF and non-FPF related topics where he rants, and I try to control myself and not punch him in the face. It's very similar to any time Simon has any intimate moments in his life. It's not long, but it does happen.
Again,
3,
same
2,
jokes.
1.
Worded differently.
So I heard that Lego wants to move the minimum age for cannabis to 21 years. 20 years
Oh,
old.
Premier Lego.
Yeah, yes.
Not Steven Lego who we played with.
No, no. It's honestly, if you legalize pot and now you want to make it even less attractive to buy it legally, it's dumb.
Yeah.
It should be younger, not older. But then, anyways,
It goes against what the government's trying to do.
when Tim's coffee price increase becomes news, we have a problem as a society. There's this new thing in France: school without teachers and would be free.
Sorry?
There's this new thing in France: a school without teachers
Mm-hmm.
also would be free. I'm very confused.
But
why
how do you
would
learn?
It's like
Well,
online.
you know what it is they're just
No, it's
trying
his
to
90 seconds.
Yeah.
Shut up.
They have teachers on strike.
In Arizona,
Strike is the joke.
in Arizona, a man was found in a mine shaft. He was searching for gold. So he told his friend on Monday, "If I'm not back Tuesday afternoon, come look for me." Never telling him where he was.
Nice.
His friend on Tuesday night said, "Where is this guy?" Called the cops. The mine workers found him on Wednesday. He fell in a 100 feet deep mine shaft. 100 feet mine shaft deep. How is he not dead? It's like 7 stories high.
I'd say he's lucky.
For 48 hours?
I'd say he's lucky, but did he find gold?
No. He didn't find squat. It was actually like a copper mine. You don't find gold. A man killed a grizzly in Lake 101 in Yukon.
We'll never know about it, though. We'll never know.
That was pretty much the story. It's great. You won a 101 against a grizzly. This guy.
Revenant come to life. Eagle, final thoughts.
This was fun.
Yeah, you paid a lot of attention.
I did. I was too busy trying to yell at people, so I was trying to make stuff work. Yeah, so if you haven't registered already, registration for the winter season ends next week.
Maybe I should
So
do
just
that.
make sure to actually
haven't
go
done
ahead
it
and
yet.
set that up.
Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, you definitely. Like me too, I got to do that and everything. So make sure you do that. Yeah, new rules coming in. We'll announce that during the captain's meeting in late December. Because you're not going to hear from us for a while, so I figure I'll give you updates now.
There's not a lot of new rules.
Some changes.
There's one really
The
dumb
one,
There's
the
one
really dumb one.
that we've discussed, and aside from that, it's very minimalistic. Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to winter. Looking forward to some time off, so I don't have to deal with you too much. Enough, but still some.
Simone, final thoughts.
So I was hoping for more time without you guys because I'm tired of seeing your faces. I'm gonna see you guys this Saturday at the finals, and then the Christmas party, and then we might be able not to see you guys for like a week or 2 before we're stuck seeing each other again. It's not long enough.
This week, am I going for 1, going for 2? I will touch on this Saturday my first point and my going for 2.
Okay.
I'm be very aggressive. Going for 2, and my first point here, we're doing something a little different. We don't have Brossard as we normally do for the finals, so we don't have Wi-Fi. Excuse me. Instead, we're going to be broadcasting on Instagram in our Instagram stories. We will be posting videos all day long, clips from the games, reactions from players, that kind of stuff. We want to be a party. We want to be fun, festive environment. And if you're playing in the games, definitely come look for myself, for Eagle, for Simon. Come talk to us. Feel free to be hyped. Feel free to be sad. Feel free to be emotionally vulnerable. We'll take it all. We'll take it all. That's what we have planned this year. It's a little bit different from what we've done in the past. Kind
Still
of forced our
filming
hand
them
by
like Game of the Week style.
yeah, it's still gonna be film game of the week style, but we're trying to add a live element to it as well, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes for next fall, as the format is different from our normal seasons. My second point going for 2 is it's Christmas music time, ladies and gentlemen. It's been awesome. I'm cheerier, just as it's
You like
just
Christmas music?
absolutely all day long.
Yeah.
Spotify all day long. Eagle is just killing my vibe now by cutting the Calling The Audible music. Maybe if you can replace it with some non-copyright Christmas
I was
music, that'd be
expecting
great.
Christmas music to drum in now.
Either way,
Completely not my fault. Actually, it just crashed.
guys, this has been fun. Honestly, it's been exhausting. This is the longest year of my life.
Really? It's every year's the same, right?
No, it's not, because of other things outside of FPF, as well as all the added responsibilities with FPF, with fall season now in the second year. It's tiring, but honestly, it's a labor of love. I love what we do. Thank you, Simon, for putting up with me every week.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eagle, for actually putting up with me every week. But most of all, thank you all for letting me be myself. What's going on? What are you doing? Oh, there we go.
Go back to eating.
I'm instantly cheering. How are you not cheering?
Go back to eating potatoes.
Eating potatoes? Oh, eating carbs? Yeah, that would make me happy.
So, do you guys think that we're only sick of each other and not the audience is sick of us?
Oh, I think there's an attrition. Honestly, I think there's an attrition. Especially of me. I'm not a likable person.
It's also part of the whole there's too much FPF and people everybody needs a break from podcasts.
Yeah.
Nobody needs a break from us. We're part of your lives forever.
Except for Simo, that's firing.